Okay. Yo, people, welcome back to another episode of the Football Heritage with me, Josh. Is it Denzel, Dan, and Carl? I think it comes up because every time I do it, it's like opposite in it. I don't know. I look like a dickhead. But yeah, you might know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your people. And yeah, thanks to all the new subs. Shout out Titch, Hammers fan, United. Got some new subs. Appreciate him. He'll be on the show real soon, innit? You might watch out for that. But let's get straight into the action. There is a mad talking points this week, innit? So it's going to be kind of concise, innit? So let's not waffle on. So the big game this weekend was City versus Liverpool. Let's talk about this actually. How big of a rivalry do you think this is? Because like I was talking to Dan, it's not hitting. It's not hitting like that. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm an old head. I'm an old head now, innit? But this shit ain't slapping. Look, the games are good, innit? The games are good, but yo, man, seen like proper rivalries, bro. These men are pussies, bro. They're not on piss, bro. But yeah, Denzel, what are you saying? Do you feel this rivalry on like a level?
This is the most lukewarm rivalry I've seen in my life. Crazy meat riding between the two managers. It's unreal, like it's unreal. Like talking about how much they love each other, the match on lips, like it's ridiculous, honestly. Like they're meant to be fierce competitive rivals, and they're always talking about how Klopp pushes me on. He's such a great manager. Pep is such a great guy. Pushes me on. Like even at the end, full time, I saw a clip of them. Like he gave him some like he looks like he's about to hug him. It's like it's not Ferguson, Wenger. It's not Mourinho, Pep. When they were in Spain, it's too nicey, and I don't like it. It's a bit boring. Considering the level at which the two teams are playing at, you would think they would hate each other a bit more. I don't feel like these guys hate each other, to be honest. It's a bit, it's a bit. Maybe it's because of it's City as well. Like no one really cares about Man City, so no one's really invested like that. But you'd think Liverpool would have a bit more, bit grit to them. And you don't have to hate each other, like super hate each other to be arch rivals or anything. In fact, now you kind of do now that I think about it. You kind of have to hate each other. And I don't think these two teams hate each other. Yeah.
No, that's the thing. Obviously, look, I'm a guy of loving it. You know the ones, but let's be real in it. These men, they act with too much respect for each other. And you could tell it's not genuine, man. The respect ain't genuine. You could tell there's a bit of, they don't like each other, but they just want to pretend in it because they don't want beef. But sometimes, say what you feel in it. But Carl, how do you feel about the way the rivalry is between the two?
It is over the last 4 years. I think it's been going for 4 years where Man City and Liverpool have been at the top of their game. And you're right. I think there's a lot of in the public eye, they kind of show that love and respect, as in like Klopp was saying how Pep's the best manager in the world the other week, all this kind of stuff. Like you kind of think it's a bit much. But however, the game today, you could see the aspects of the players were actually up for it. There was actually firm tackles going in, and not to be an old head, but that's, I think, when we look back at the rivalries before, the players that was dying for the badge, like we're talking about Man United, Prime, Arsenal, like Wenger and Ferguson, them kind of days, like players, you could tell when it's a derby. And I think what we're missing for Liverpool, Man City, I think it's because they are very technical teams. So that's like, it's more of a modern day thing rather than the actual rivalry. I do think the rivalry is there in terms of competitiveness, but I think it's, again, the fact twisted that today is a lot of technical players rather than just like fierce guys talking like the Vidiches, the Roy Keanes, them kind of guys. Like we're not going to get that today, So for today's game, it's a decent rivalry, but for two teams that have been going at it for 4 years, it's a bit soft, to be honest. Like you wouldn't see Conte talking like this in conferences. You wouldn't see Conte on the field doing all this nonsense. But at the end of the day, it's sportsmanship, like they always say all that kind of stuff. But it is a weird one.
No, I hear that. Yeah, Dan, what about you? What's your thoughts on the rivalry and like how it's portrayed?
I'll be real. I disagree with you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I think a lot of people are saying it's the new Arsenal, Man United, and I actually agree. I think it is because if we're being honest, let's look at the last like 5 years. Them two teams have been dominant. Them two teams have been arguably the two best teams in Premier League history. If we're talking about Premier League points, they have been so dominant of everyone else, and it's literally just been them two teams going back and forth. And I mean, in terms of like, we talk about Arsenal and Man United from like 1998 to 2006. You could argue that including European success, that this Liverpool and Man City rivalry is better than that rivalry because, I mean, Arsenal done nothing in Europe. And Man United, they won one Champions League, but they were getting knocked out in the group stages a lot of the time. Whereas like this Liverpool team got to one Champions League final, won another Champions League. And Man City got to the Champions League final last year and have been to the semi-final before that, quarter-final, and have always been like a big threat in Europe. They've won what, like four Premier Leagues in the last 5. Like these two teams are all-time greats, and they're going back and forth. Like, let's be honest, everyone tuned in for the game today. Everyone tuned in. No one was missing it. And still to this, like, after the game, no one knows who's going to win the league. Like, these two teams are all-time greats. And, like, every time they come and play against each other, there's something to talk about, whether it's Riyad Mahrez missing a penalty in the last minute to win the game, or Man City clearing it off the line even though it was a millimetre over the line, whether it's Liverpool knocking the Centurions out of the Champions League, or Man City coming back to win the title despite Liverpool being so far ahead at Christmas. Like, there's loads of talking points with this rivalry, and there's loads of like kind of checkpoints of the storyline as well. I do agree with what you guys were saying in terms of like they're too respectful in press conferences, because it is true. Like, you can tell they don't like each other. Like, you can tell that they don't get on, but I think they just don't want to give the media too much to talk about because they don't want to put pressure on their team like that. Because I mean, like, even Ferguson and Wenger, they didn't like each other, but they weren't disrespectful in press conferences. I think that's the difference. Like, they just didn't really talk about each other. Whereas like Klopp and Guardiola kind of go too far, where they're like, oh, he's the greatest. I love being a rival with him. Da, 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 da. And I think that's why people don't really want to see it as this great rivalry. But the other reason why I don't think people want to give it the credit it deserves is because, number one, it's Liverpool and Man City, and no one really likes them two teams. And number two, because the Arsenal-Man United rivalry is like caked in nostalgia. Like, everyone loves that period of Premier League time. There's so many good players, there were so many iconic moments. Like, it's a real throwback. Like, people remember them teams as a lot better than they were, in my opinion. So I don't know, we'll see what happens at the end of the season, because depending on if either team wins the Champions League and whoever wins the league, these two teams might be seen in a different light in terms of like all-time greats. But I definitely think it is I'd say it's one of the iconic rivalries of the Premier League era.
I think it will be.
Because there's not many rivalries in the Premier League era. Like, Arsenal Man United is the biggest one. Maybe Chelsea Man United at the end of the 2000s.
Chelsea Liverpool is bigger, man.
Chelsea,
Even,
what?
yeah,
No,
exactly.
Chelsea United was a huge rivalry.
But Chelsea Liverpool played each other a lot in the late 2000s. But Liverpool never won. Liverpool were never really contenders for the title, though. They were contenders 1 year for the title. The rest
it was more a European thing than the Premier League.
Yeah. They played each other in the Champions League like 3 or 4 times.
I think another thing with the Man City Liverpool is that just me, I'm talking about for myself, innit? There's not really many players I particularly have a liking for on either team. Like, who do I really? There's not really a player I gravitate to on either side.
That's personal, though.
That's personal.
Because a lot of people like Salah, Trent, Van Dijk, De Bruyne.
Oh, Van Dijk. Yeah, Van Dijk's my guy, innit? Van Dijk and Alisson.
Like, there's loads of players, really.
I like Van Dijk and Alisson, but the rest of them.
Another thing I want to quickly point out, like, I remember in the earlier stages of the rivalry, like, Liverpool fans used to be on Sterling's neck. They've kind of eased up on him since the England PR stuff. You know, obviously England boosted his PR, I think.
If Liverpool fans were on him more, then it would be more toxic.
It would make it better. I feel like
it would be another storyline as well. Like the player who betrayed the team that went on to do this.
But I think because in the earlier stages, Liverpool hadn't won anything, so they were bitter towards Sterling because he'd left and they'd won. But now that they've won a Champions League and the Premier League, I don't think they care as much. But maybe if they targeted Sterling, I love Sterling. obviously I don't want to see him be targeted, but for storyline's sake, it'll be interesting if the Scousers go onto him a bit more.
For the Premier League script writers need to up their game.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to score a 90th winner again. He almost had the winner today.
He almost, isn't it? Yeah. He almost.
VAR.
Let's get into the game, innit? Dan, lead us. What key observations did you see from the game that made you think,
First of all, I think it was just a very, very high quality game. Like very high quality game. I think most of the mistakes got punished. I think like Sterling missed 2 big chances, but I still think overall he had a very good game, which shows like the level of the game that like I think most people would come away saying, oh, he should have been despite how good he was. It was like it's a cliche, but it was like a boxing match where like at the beginning City had the upper hand in like the first 15-20 minutes, then Liverpool came back into the game, and then City nearing the end of the half got the upper hand, and then like as the second half went on, Liverpool started very, very well, and then City kind of crept back into the game, and by the end of the game it was like a shootout, like end to end. So I wouldn't say we know what both of these teams are about. Like we didn't really learn anything, but I think from my point of view anyway, I just enjoyed watching it.
I got something, and it was from what Denzel was saying last week. You see Jota, yeah. I don't know, man. He's a good goal scorer, but bro,
he's a poacher. He's just a poacher.
Yeah, he doesn't offer much. He's basically Ronaldo in a sense.
He does offer. He does.
He does. I don't think he does like that.
It is some teams.
Danger, man.
There's more to it than just being able to like hold up the play and stuff. See them goals that he's talking about poaching. There's an art to it. It's like you get people talking about poaching.
I'm not disrespecting the art of poaching and stuff like that.
He made a career of that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying outside of like the quality of that, he doesn't really offer a lot to the team in that sense.
I mean, his pressing is good though. Pressing is good, and for Liverpool, that's a big attribute. Like that's one of Gabby Jesus' main attributes.
If pressing is an attribute nowadays, then fair enough.
Pressing is an attribute.
It's definitely an attribute.
We can see what happens when a team doesn't press, cough, United, but there's a bunch of bums who don't know how to press properly. Yeah, like pressing is very important. One of the most important attributes in the game, the modern day game.
Especially for Liverpool.
You ask me. Yeah.
Okay, so pressing and goal scoring. Okay, fair enough then. Fair enough.
Mr. Eye Test doesn't like that. It doesn't look good. He didn't dribble through 5 people and shoot into the stands.
Bro, you don't need to do dribbling and stuff like that, man. It's just you offer something else. Like
goal's not enough.
Well, no, there are boys. Like,
Josh wants to see stepovers and rainbow flicks.
Yeah, man wants to see someone do like Anthony, but just doing skills on the touchline.
I'm a 90-minute guy, man. I don't look for just stuff in isolation.
3 rainbow flicks per game is all Josh needs.
Yeah.
But I feel like obviously long term, I think Diaz will replace him in the team. Obviously Mane. Yeah. I think they might look to do Mane up top. I think Mane will offer more over 90 minutes.
That's what they did in the Champions League.
Yeah,
they played Mane up top.
Jota doesn't really push them, doesn't do anything. I think Diaz will help really like.
Yeah, but they might kind of adapt the way they play to suit that rather than like they'll get. So for example, for like Trent is a very good example. I don't know, the first half defensively he was woeful, and everyone knows Trent is bad defensively, but they've adapted their defense in their midfield so that they can cover for his defensive kind of lapses. In the same way, they could adapt their attack so that Jota, like the opposite of Firmino. Firmino can't score goals, but he can do everything else. So they got Salah and Mane to offer them goals when they were like 2017, 2018. So it might be the other way around where they've got Jota who can score goals, but they bring someone else in when Salah moves on and maybe Mane moves on to add to that front three to kind of help him with that.
Because I'm going to mention another player in the next topic who I think is in a similar ilk. But with that, before we move on, Man City, Liverpool now, who are we saying is in advantage right now? Should we even pull up their remaining games actually? Just to see. Let me pull it up. Okay. Give me a second. Man City. Because might be an interesting end to the title. Let's see.
Because they're playing each other next Saturday, I think.
Oh yeah, FA Cup. It's true.
Yeah.
That's factors. Okay. So Brighton, Watford. I mean, because it's Man City, you kind of expect them to win everything, innit? In a sense.
Yeah, but they don't struggle against Big Six. They struggle against like these type of teams. Like Brighton, they'll probably lose 1-0 or something.
Because they're at home, City don't lose at home. There's more away, isn't it?
Oh, the West Ham game, I did.
Yeah,
That's gonna be.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brighton, West Ham are the ones that they should be worried about.
I think
Villa could do a bit of damage too.
I think all the home games you gotta back City, really.
Yeah.
City are too good at home. Away, I back them against Leeds. Just this one is a bit more sterner, I guess.
Yeah.
Liverpool. Oh, you got United.
Yeah, and Everton.
United and Tottenham.
Ooh. Wait, you got United?
You know what it is? What? Why do we have them twice?
You've already played them at Old Trafford.
Oh, it's a friendly.
Oh,
That's whack.
Nonsense.
I played Liverpool in friendlies. That's terrible. Anyway, okay. So with the United game, because United are absolutely whack, and we have nothing to play for this season, I feel like we'll beat them. I don't know why, but I just feel like we'll beat them.
Well, you think you man will, because you man are not playing with any motivation, so you man think you can step up.
I don't know why. I just have a feeling we'll beat them.
it's at Anfield as well, to be fair, which is tough to win.
Oh yeah, we'll probably hold them to a draw or something like.
Yeah, but that helps Man City massively.
Yeah, well, I'd rather City win it than Liverpool.
Yeah.
So
I think with Liverpool as well, we'll see how far they go in the Champions League as well, because obviously that's going to take a lot of effort out. Obviously, City as well is still in the Champions League.
But City planned for this. They planned to be battling on all fronts, because there was a period in time where they rest like their key players. Like at the beginning of the season, like KDB wasn't even playing that much. I feel like they knew that they were going to go deeper into the multiple competitions, and that was picking up form, of course. So I think Pep prepared for this. He knows about burnout and how it's affected them in the past. So yeah, I think City will be fine.
And Man City in a good position because really they need to be going for UCL, like not more, but they need to focus and not neglect the facts they still need to win the UCL. I think the fixtures are very, very lucky for Man City because it means that, say, if they've got a close tight fixture between UCL and Prem, they can actually afford to play some players that might not even start, as we saw today, like Jesus. It wasn't a thing for resting players, but you can see they have the depth to rotate and still be comfortable, which is what Liverpool can't do, if we're being honest. Liverpool can't afford to drop.
Liverpool's depth, I would say, might be better than City's right now.
But let's look at some players like this midfield. I know
their midfield is cold, bro.
Apart from Keita, who can come in? Who else can come in?
Jones
they got Keita, they got Thiago, they got Elliott, they got Jones, they got Henderson.
Thiago, Fabinho, and Henderson are the main three, and Keita's the only guy that can come in personally.
No, they got Elliott. Elliott can come in. Elliott's quality, man.
He's decent. He's good. He's good.
He's good.
He's good. But when you look at Man City, they're stacked to their brim, in my opinion.
I don't think City aren't as stacked as people say they are.
Yeah. People, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
How are they not stacked?
I think they're stacked.
Bro, they
have two first teams.
Yeah,
that's got 5 attackers. So James.
Yeah, but it's the way they play. Like Josh, think about it. Do Liverpool have 2 first teams that they can start?
I mean, at this point, arguably,
pretty much.
Like, none of the defenders can get dropped out. None of the defenders can leave.
Well, Liverpool's.
Yeah, none of them can leave.
Konate can come into that back four, and Shemikas can play at left back.
Left back and right back.
Shemikas is better than most left backs in the league.
But not good enough to win the league. Not good enough to win the league.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but he can play a second leg Champions League tie that they've won, or he can play a FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah, for Champions League, definitely, yeah.
And then what, right back?
Have they still got
right back they're done. Right back they're
exactly.
done.
Wait, have they
But
still
same with
got?
City though.
Have they still
No,
got? What's his
because
name?
it's-
What's the brother's name? They still got Nat Phillips as well, innit?
I get that bum out of here.
Nah, I don't think
Come
it's
on,
them.
man.
You
Imagine
know.
I
Nat
like Nat
Phillips.
Phillips. No,
Nat
Nat
Williams.
Phillips. Yeah,
Whatever you
still.
think.
No, but City have cool. At right back, City have Walker, and who do they have behind them?
Cancelo.
So who's gonna play left back?
Zinchenko.
They can play Ake and Zinchenko at left back.
Okay, cool. So Ake and Zinchenko. I
Yeah.
don't think either of them are the level of Shimikas, to be honest.
Really?
Zinchenko's clear. Zinchenko's clear.
Shimikas is
Zinchenko's definitely
bro.
better than.
Nah,
Yeah.
Shimikas is good. Shimikas is good.
Zinchenko's verified. He was
He's
in the main
good.
team when Man City won the league, to be fair.
Yeah, he's good, but I think I actually rate Shimikas quite highly, to be fair. Their midfield as well, Liverpool have got options, man.
No. They both have good depth. I'll just say the quality of City's depth, you could say, is better, but like the quantity of Liverpool's one is probably greater. It's more spread out in a sense, if you know what I mean.
How?
So it kind of balances itself out in a sense if you look at it. But I don't know. It's a tough one. I still back City because just of the way they play. And
That Spurs game will be difficult for Liverpool because, like,
Mhm.
Spurs in their current form, I'd say they might be in, apart from them two teams, they might be in the best form in the league. And like the way Spurs play,
How long is it gonna last for though?
that's true. But the way
It's
Spurs
Tottenham.
play is, I feel, will be a good matchup for them against Liverpool because Spurs are a counter-attack transition heavy team that don't really need the ball. So I think they could trouble Liverpool.
let's even move on to Spurs then. Perfect segue. 4-0 win against Aston Villa. Son hat-trick. I said in the GC earlier, let's go around. Do we think Son's world class? Denzel?
Nah.
Dan? Carl?
Not for me, but I get it. I get when people respect him. No, he's not for me, but I respect Son as a player, and I think he's a good footballer. And Dan was talking about his finishing and stuff. His individual attributes are up there, but overall game is not what we would say world class, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's for me as well now. His overall game, how he affects the game over 90 minutes, I don't think it's there. Obviously, his goals is crazy, isn't it? Left foot, right foot. Yeah.
With Tottenham, when you say like affects the overall game, like we said before, Tottenham don't really play with the ball that much. So it's a thing where there's only so much you can do. So I wouldn't say it's world class, but I think it's the tier below that.
What about Kane? Kane doesn't
Kane's
have
world class. Kane's world
Okay,
class.
Kane's an anomaly if you think about it.
Yeah, and that's what we should hold. That's the standards for world class players. You should be.
Yeah.
We agree that he's not world class, but like at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to be world class in that Tottenham team, and Kane does a great job of it.
I know you like to banter Spurs, but Spurs aren't Everton or Aston Villa. Like they're challenging for top four. Right?
No, but my thing with them is, people like to separate Son and Kane from Spurs' failures. Like when you bring up the fact Spurs haven't won a trophy, people will be like, oh, but Son and Kane could have won a trophy if they went to Man City. But you can't separate them from them failures. They're a massive reason why Spurs haven't won a trophy. Under Pochettino, in every semi-final and final they played in, them two stunk. Honestly stunk. That Champions League semi-final, Son was horrific. It took Lucas Moura to bail out both of them bums. And in the final as well, both of them stunk it out as well. Like, that's my main problem with Son. Every time it gets like to the real crunch moment, this guy goes missing. And like, I'll give him credit for the last 2 years. The last 2 years he's been very, very good. And I think Mourinho is a big part of that. But I can't put him in that world-class bracket, man.
He doesn't even have world-class expectations on him. Like, people don't expect high things from him. That's why when he's doing great things, it's almost
that's why he got away with the purple patch kind of phase of his career for a long time, because people didn't really have that. Like if you play for Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, people would have been onto him when he went months without scoring goals.
But in fairness to him, he's a vital player for Spurs, and
100%.
You can't really what's the right word? You can't really disprove of his importance, because without him, they're not going to be going for top four. Like his finishing ability is unquestionable.
He's the best in the league. He's outperformed his XG for like the last like 5 years to the point where it's become sustainable, which is like an anomaly.
Yeah, exactly. So That's one thing. Like, he is certified, isn't it? I just don't think he's of a high level. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna put him on par.
Is he the GOAT Asian player?
Probably
Over
that.
Park Ji-sung.
He's better than Park Ji-sung. Park Ji-sung was just in a... Park Ji-sung as the overall player probably offered more than him, but I'd have to put him over Park Ji-sung, yeah.
One thing I say about Son in his younger years used to offer quite a bit. Like, his dribbling ability, his ability to take on players, it was a lot better when he was younger. Like, obviously now as he's gone older, he's kind of focused more on just making runs in behind the stretch and defenses.
No, but he's still capable though. That goal he scored against Burnley like 2 seasons ago where he ran through the whole team.
Yeah,
that's not easy.
That's what I'm saying. He used to be able to do it. Nowadays he doesn't do that as much. He's changed.
Yeah, that's true.
But to be fair, you have to look at it. He is with Conte. Conte, that's not a Conte thing to be doing up.
No, but he did it under Mourinho as well. Though.
Yeah,
yeah. And like Kulusevski shows that he can dribble through players as well in this Conte team. So I don't know. It's...
So no. Spurs. What are we saying about Spurs though for top 4? Are we saying they are the team now?
They won't.
It's in their hands, but
yeah, they can. They have to. They have to, because Conte. If you look at it, Conte doesn't have to be doing up aggressive goal scoring. He'll happily sit back and take the 1-0 wins and stuff. Like Conte, it's the right time for Conte to be traditional himself and kind of have that very solid, like, focus on defense first kind of type mentality, rather than Spurs before. The probability that they're going to bottle would be kind of high, right? But now I think all the managers have had, even better than Mourinho, they're less likely to bottle because they can afford to be sit deep and go counter. And Kane and Son right now, they're popping. I don't like Spurs, but I'll be honest, the way they're playing right now, and with the new additions, it's working very, very well for them. They're in a very comfortable position. I know there is a lot of pressure on them behind. Me personally, I don't think Arsenal or Man United are even out of it. Like, I think out is kind of a big statement to make. I think Arsenal are still actually pushing. Like, people saying they're completely out of it, I think they're still in it. But Spurs, you can't say that they're not in the most comfortable position. If you look at their fixtures as well, compared to like Arsenal's and maybe Man United's, it's a lot better for them.
100%. With Dan, do you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say with Tottenham, obviously they have the bottle gene, but you wouldn't. I don't know. There's something about them where I think they're gonna drop off. Like I just feel like it's gonna happen, and I feel like Arsenal will probably snatch it. But when you look at the fixtures, Arsenal and United both have to play each other. I think Arsenal have Chelsea still. You guys still have to play Chelsea.
And
oh, well, you still have, oh yeah. North London derby will probably. I think North London derby is gonna decide it. I think it'll decide it.
I think it'll be decided by them, man. North London derby is going to be the second. It's the second last game.
Ooh,
I think so. Anyway, I think so.
I thought it was coming up a bit sooner, but it's with United. We have Liverpool, and we have to play Arsenal as well. United are out of Champions League race. It's done. There's no way on earth Man United again Champions League, because even if we do beat Arsenal and beat Liverpool, we're gonna drop points. Like United it's a given that they're gonna drop points against the smaller teams. So I wouldn't even put United in the conversation. I think it's between Arsenal and Spurs. I don't know, because the Tottenham have that ball gene. I just feel like Arsenal will get it, but I think it depends on North London derby. It'll be a.
Oh no, man. I think Spurs have got it right now. I think the difference is where like the tide kind of changed was January, because like both teams needed reinforcements. Arsenal, we got very, very lucky as well, by the way, because in January we had a midfield crisis where like at one point we were playing like just Lokonga and no other midfielders, and we didn't go out and make them reinforcements. We didn't get that striker, we didn't get that midfielder, and Spurs did. Spurs got in Kulusevski and Bentancur, who have both come right in and improved their team straight away. And I mean, like, Kane and Son are just two massive difference makers, man. Like, even the game against Villa, like, I think I sent it to the GC, Spurs' XG was like 0.7 and they scored 4 goals, which is like ridiculous from Kane and Son. And Arsenal, we don't have them difference makers, man. Like, against Brighton, our XG was like 2.7 and we lost 2-1. Like, I think between the harder fixtures that we've got left and the fact that Spurs are like on a very good wave with the difference makers in their team, I think it's Spurs to lose right now.
I do totally hear you. obviously I've said I believe Arsenal get top four, and obviously that's a reality when you're trying to get top four. Is these teams are going to be inconsistent. There's going to be a lot of drop points. So with how close it still is, I think it's very counterproductive to say this is foregone conclusion. I think with United is a bit more easier because you man have just not been serious for quite a while now. So I don't really consider you major threats. You're kind of the dark horses. But with Arsenal and Tottenham, how still close it is, we still got to wait and see. But as Dan was saying, they got Kane and Son. Arsenal don't have players of that ilk. And you could argue, I know Dan's been on this case for years now, but Lacazette doesn't really help.
He's a hindrance to the team, bro. He's a hindrance. I saw a stat on Twitter yesterday that Lacazette since December, by the way, we're in April now, he has 4 shots on target. That's 1 a month. 1 shot on target a month. The guy, his passing is trash. He's not quick. He can't hold up the ball at all. He's not a threat in the box. He can't win anything aerially. I don't know why he's in the team, man. Honestly, like Eddie Nketiah is trash, like whack. But when he comes on, you can see that we're better. Like, and he actually offers something, even if it's just poaching. He offers some sort of threat. I don't know why Lacazette's in the team, man. And he might be one of the reasons we don't get in that top 4.
Yeah, I think he's just in the team because of captaincy, and young team.
But that's another Arteta decision, and that's one thing that Arteta fans love to do. They love to absolve him of his own decisions. So like he'll make a decision and it won't work, and then they'll use that decision as an excuse. So they'll be like, Arteta's not making top 4 because he only has Lacazette as a striker, as if Arteta himself didn't get rid of Aubameyang. Like, I know he wasn't in great form, but Aubameyang is levels and leagues better than Lacazette. And they'll say, Lacazette's Arteta is in this position because of this, and it will be something that, like for example, yesterday Arteta doesn't have a left back and had to play Xhaka left back, as if that wasn't his own decision. He literally bought Nuno Tavares last summer, and you don't have confidence enough to play him as a left back. That's on you. You can't blame anyone else.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. That's true. But yeah, Arsenal, we'll have to see in it. It looked all rosy, but I think that's the reality of having a young team in it and a young manager. There's going to be big mistakes, so it's going to be interesting. Let's move on to Europe now. Been an eventful week in Europe. Let's look at the second legs. Well, obviously we'll talk about the first legs anyway. But let's move on to which ones were the least eventful. Obviously, no one really cares about Bayern, but what are we saying for this one? Do you think Bayern are just gonna sweep past them, or?
Yes.
Villarreal, they're a tough team to break.
They're tricky. They're very tricky.
They're
when we play them in
Don
group
Emery,
stages,
bro.
they were annoying.
What are you saying, Dan?
Don Emery, bro. He's not a bum, Emery's a good man. He's a good knockout competition manager. Yeah. But Bayern should still sweep them.
What about you, Denzel? What are you saying?
Yeah, I think Bayern will go through because they have a habit of, I think even in the last one, they drew the first leg?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And then they just annihilated them in the second leg. I feel like that's what they love doing. That I could see that happening again. But Villarreal are a very tricky team to beat. Like in the group stages, they gave us headache. So it'll be interesting to see, but I do think Bayern will go through.
Now, Villarreal done well, but Bayern full force is taking anyone in the world like on the day full force, and that's what they will do. I think Bayern will win like comfortably. I think
it might be a scrap. I can't lie, because Bayern in transition, they're shocking. Hey, Carl, I'm sorry. I know I'm not a Chelsea fan, innit, but I celebrated Benzema's goals, man. When the first goal went in, I clapped.
What?
I was happy, man. You see when you watch organic footballers.
Man was clapping the eye test, bro. That was real eye test, bro.
Yes, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Guy said eye test over his own team. I know you're not supporting them no more.
My team anymore. But you see,
I know.
Benzema's not a footballer. He's a footballer.
With the apostrophe, football.
A footballer. You see, my days, bro. But Carl, what are you saying, man? Why go for Mendy?
It is when individual quality at that level, there's nothing you can say, but you can just really have to respect it. Honest, when it's that quality, there's nothing Chelsea could have done. And then the end of the day, the crosses, he had no right to be heading that, and then them kind of accuracy from headers like that. I haven't seen that. I have never seen that before. Someone just doing that, coming on the pitch so casually, like Benzema, like and it's still a Champions League performing like that. It's crazy to think. A few years ago, people would never guess Benzema still to this day playing at this kind of level. And he's kind of improved. He's improved over his career. That's the craziest thing. Every single season, he's getting better and better. I don't think Chelsea can bring this back. You know, I want them to very much, but I don't think they can bring this back personally. Like, it just comes down to individual quality. Chelsea don't have that clutch instinct anymore. The gene is gone. The gene is stripped from Chelsea. As much as we like to say, Chelsea have been a team that's clutched a lot of good things over the years, but we don't have that genes anymore. There's no Drogba to save us. There's no one to save us anymore. I want Chelsea to bring it back, but I can't see it happening. I'm sorry.
That's the issue with the Chelsea team, is that there's no dynamism in that team. There's no game changers. There's no guys that could really take over the game. Obviously, you say Lukaku was brought in to be that, and obviously he hasn't done that. But you look at the squad, there's no guy that can, what's the saying, take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
They ain't got, you know, they ain't that guys, man. They ain't hustlers, bro. They ain't hustlers.
Yeah.
But Dan, what are you saying? Do you think these odds are right? Because they're giving Chelsea a 32% chance.
I wouldn't count Chelsea out, because like Chelsea are still a very strong team, and like on their day, I think they can challenge most teams in the world. But it'd be difficult to go away from home and win 2-0, like especially the form that Benzema's in, bro. Like this guy scored 2 hat-tricks in a row against Chelsea and PSG. Like that's absolutely barbaric, bro. Like I don't know if Chelsea can overturn that. So yeah, I think it'll be Real Madrid going through.
Mm-hmm. Denzel?
It's at the Bernabeu for one. I just don't see Madrid letting you guys score, because even if you score 2, it still goes to extra time.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 goals at the Bernabeu and not conceding, I don't think it's likely. And Real Madrid are not a team that normally let leads slip. I know there was the Ajax fixture, but that was because if they had a sense of arrogance to them. But I feel like they've removed that sense of arrogance. Like they don't have people like Ramos in the team anymore. Those have arrogant people. I think Ramos said something stupid like, "I got a yellow card in this, so when we face Ajax, I'll be able to play," and they still got knocked out. So I feel like they've removed the sense of arrogance and ego, and they're just a class team to watch, especially Benzema. Like he's in the form of his life. He's in his prime, which is rare to see at the age. I think, was he 34?
Yeah.
Yeah, in his prime at 34, it's just crazy. I don't see you guys going to the Bernabeu and bossing it. I don't see you guys going to the Bernabeu and scoring 3 goals, but I wouldn't rule you guys out. Never know.
What are you saying for this game, man? If Atletico get an early goal, then you know City could be in trouble. But I don't know, man. I don't know for this one. If City have the ball for majority, it's gonna be tough for Atletico. What are you saying?
It's tough, man. I don't see Atleti going through this time. I love Atleti, man. I love Simeone. I love the shithouse, but I don't see them scoring 2 against City. Like, if they went to Etihad and came away with a 0-0 draw, I'd have been a lot more optimistic for their chances. But just because Man City are in really good form now and they'd need to score 2 goals, I think it's a lot more of a task than it could have been. So I still see Man City going through, but I wouldn't be shocked or surprised at all if Man City bottled it somehow.
Mm-hmm. Carl?
I think because of the position Man City in right now, knowing that they have access to all these trophies in one season, the fact that Pep knows on his penultimate season he could do the best season he's had in his whole career potentially, I don't think he'll let it slip. I know he's been questioning Champions League before, but at least he's pushing semi-finals, finals. Like at least I think Pep, he's the best manager in the world right now. He knows when to sit down and bring possession and keep the ball. He knows when to adapt his style of play. He's not going to be full force. That 1-0, something like 1-0, or even keeping it a draw, he just to get through to the next round and then work from there. Now, but the fact that they can go and do maybe a double or treble, who knows? Pep, he shouldn't bottle. But saying that, Atletico Madrid, top side, they kind of resemble some of the best traits of Mourinho back in his prime. Really, that's why I kind of like them. The way they play is very, 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 very composed. They love these kind of games. Scrappy wins, but that in the end of the day, they make the best teams. Those kind of teams.
Denzel?
Yeah, I think what you said was key, Josh, when you said they have to get an early goal. If they don't score in the first 20 minutes, I think it's a write-off. Because of they would actually have to play football to get a result. And we know, especially against Man City, the first leg was atrocious to watch from an athletic perspective. That was not football, that was terrorism. I can't remember who you said the quote. I think it might have been Kevin De Bruyne. It was like, it's the first time I've seen a 5-5-0 formation or something like that. They're actually disgusting. Like Spanish Burnley, like Burnley even play better football than them. Like it's football terrorism at its finest. It's disgusting to watch. The only reason why they got away with it is because the Man United are a bunch of bums, and you can't be playing like that against Man City. They'll absolutely obliterate you. It's a Man City do training session games against most teams in the Premier League. So I don't know what makes Atleti think that they're gonna get a result out of 90% possession Man City. It's just ridiculous, to be honest. They could try to smash and grab, but City, when they build patterns of play, they get into their groove. If you don't score in the first 20 minutes, you're not getting the ball off of them, and you're not doing nothing. So unless they want to actually turn up and play some football, I don't see them beating City.
Hey Denzel, that sounded like some real agenda, you know.
I just hate.
I wonder why.
I just hate, like, even when they played us, like, we're trash, and they still try to do that terrorism football, and obviously it worked because it's United. We have mistakes.
Sunday league.
We have like
that's the basics.
We have bums like Yeah, we have bums like Maguire. I'll be on it. We have people like Maguire.
Straight to Maguire.
We have people like it's just the whole team, like toothless up front, so there's no threat. We don't even know how to string passes together. Like Man City are basically everything that Man United aren't, and you're trying to run the same play. You can't do this to City unless you score in the first 20 minutes.
We're saying that.
We've been doing that to Man City for years, though. Wolves under Nuno done that to Man City like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Not to this level of. Pardon?
They struggled against Atletico. They struggled to break them. They only had like 2 shots on target. They struggled.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Atletico, they're 1-0 down now. They can't be playing football terrorism. You have to get that goal in the first 20 minutes. Maybe they can actually try to play football for the first 20 minutes, try get a goal, and then they can do their football terrorism afterwards, and then maybe get another chance and smash and grab it. But this to get a win, I would hope they would actually try to play a little bit of football, maybe a little bit of 5 minutes, just pass the ball around, just actually have someone up front, actually play football. But no, like, but I think City will win. Yeah, I think City will win.
And there's a game called Liverpool versus Benfica, but that one don't matter.
Finished. I
want
want to say something quickly.
Huh?
Yeah, I want to say something quickly. I did my scouting. I'm not too impressed by Nunes. I can't lie. I don't get why some fans want him. I actually don't think he's that good. I'll be honest.
Well, you failed the eye test.
I just don't like him. I wouldn't say I don't like him, but I don't want him at my club. I don't feel like he's the right striker. I didn't take to him.
He's like a proper rash version of Edin Dzeko, like proper rash version.
Yeah,
where like he's not aesthetic at all.
Them bummy footballers, isn't it, man?
Yeah, he's not a bum, but I just don't think he's right for United.
He's not doing much in the Prem. He's not doing much in the Prem.
Yeah, I don't really rate him. I wasn't feeling it.
But I don't know. I don't think he's the right player for United anyway. Maybe Arsenal, but not United.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might do his thing, innit? We'll see, innit? So I don't know too much about him, so I'm not gonna comment.
No, neither. It's just from that game, to be honest.
But I think that's it from us this week. Yeah. Any final topics you want to bring up? I think that's it. So
Everton.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
Everton have survived. After that win yesterday, they've survived. That win and the fact Burnley lost to Norwich today, Everton have survived.
Burnley lost to Norwich today?
Yeah.
Yep. Everton just survived. Just because of them 2 results.
Wait, Dyke is going down.
Yeah, Norwich won
Dyche. Orange boy is going down.
Finally.
Mr. WWE is going down. Mr. Brexit ball is going. See, this is what happens when you don't stick to your principles. He decided to go to the EU and get some ballers. And now look, relegation.
I should have got Chris Wood. I should have kept Chris Wood. No Wood Weghorst.
Exactly. You might as well Weghorst.
6 years in the Premier League. You tried.
He got 8th one year, which is crazy.
He'll be back up soon. They'll be back up.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because in the Championship, they can actually try to play football. Let's see, because they've been playing football recently. This season they've been playing decent football because they have Cornet, what's the other Donny, Dutch Donny, Weghorst. But he's basically he's
He's a
on loan
continental
from the
talent.
UK. He's basically a Brexit baller, but with a fancy name.
He's got a bit of
It's
tech on him,
not
man.
fancy, but yeah.
For a big man, he's got a bit of tech on him.
He's a Brexit baller. Let's not lie.
Like he's not nothing.
Don't give him that tag, bro.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what's it?
Folks with a Dutch passport, bro.
Man said that, man. He's got a bit of a first touch on him. You know, he can control the ball well. Unlike
How tall is he? He's hella tall, isn't he?
unlike CR37, isn't it? That guy from
So,
fucking shit
yeah,
balling. Oh. I
Whatever,
can't-
man.
How do you rep that guy, Denzel, man? Honestly,
I'll rep him till I die because of what he's done.
just
What
let
he's
him
done, I'll
go.
rep him
Man.
till I die. They have amnesia. Everyone's got amnesia until he bangs in a hat trick, then everyone remembers again why he's the GOAT. But obviously, this season wasn't the greatest. The other guy didn't really have a good season either, but we won't talk about him today.
Hat-trick of assist. Hat-trick of assist yesterday, man. He's not doing too bad.
Nah, but they run mad PR whenever these guys do it against farmers. You know what? I'm not even gonna get into all that. But yeah,
What's Hazard saying though?
what?
What's
No.
Hazard saying though?
Yeah, what's your guy saying?
Yeah?
I don't want to speak about this guy right now.
The eye test,
Is
Messiah.
he gonna get a move?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Is he gonna move clubs? Because let's be real, he needs to move clubs. Like
Right?
I want to see
Hey,
where
fans
him and
down
Bale
there.
go.
Hey, people, we're out. Love.